Most people spend their whole lives chasing money, yet never stop to ask the simplest question: why does it keep running away? It's not that they're lazy. It's not that they're not trying. It's that they're playing the wrong game. The wealthy don't chase money. They build systems that attract it. They don't think in paychecks. They think in processes. And once you learn that wealth isn't earned by hours, but by structure, your entire financial life begins to change. See, the difference between the rich and everyone else isn't intelligence, it's architecture. The poor work in the system, the rich work on the system. I remember a young man once asked me, "Sir, how do I make more money?" I told him, "That's the wrong question. The right question is, how do you make money flow without you being there?" See, a salary feeds you for a while, but a system feeds you forever. A paycheck is a single event. A system is a philosophy. The moment you stop thinking like an employee and start thinking like an architect of cash flow, everything changes. Your habits, your confidence, your time, even your freedom. Because wealth isn't earned, my friend, it's designed. When I first started in business, I worked hard. I mean really hard. Long hours, big dreams, and very little money left over at the end of the month. Maybe you felt that too. That endless cycle of working, earning, spending, and starting again. One day I asked myself a question that changed everything. If I have to keep working for money, then who's really in charge, me or the money? And the answer wasn't flattering. See, most people work for money all their lives and never stop long enough to realize that money is supposed to be their servant, not their master. The rich think differently. They understand that every dollar can work harder than a person ever could. Money doesn't need sleep. It doesn't get tired, and it never complains, but it does need direction. I remember when I got my first decent paycheck, my instinct was to spend it, maybe buy something nice to reward myself. But then I realized something. If I spent all my energy earning and all my earnings spending, I'd never escape the cycle. So I decided to make a shift. I started putting a portion of every dollar to work. I called it my silent workforce. I invested it in small opportunities, savings accounts, books that built my knowledge, and eventually assets that produced cash flow even when I wasn't there. Philosophically, this isn't about greed. It's about stewardship. The purpose of money is not consumption, but multiplication. When you begin to treat every dollar as a little employee, you start to see wealth differently. I used to think I was broke because I didn't have enough money. What I eventually learned was that I was broke because I didn't have a plan. When you make money work for you, through investments, education, or systems that generate passive income, you break free from the treadmill of trading time for paychecks. I once met a man who worked harder than anyone I knew, but he could never seem to get ahead. He asked me, "Why does it feel like I'm always starting over?" I said, "Because every payday, you fire all your workers." He looked puzzled. I explained, "Every dollar you earn is an employee. When you spend it, it leaves your company forever. But when you invest it wisely, it brings friends back." His face lit up. That's when he began to change how he handled money. And within a few years, he was earning not just from his job, but from his investments, his side ventures, his ideas. That's the key. Don't work harder, work smarter. Let your money earn for you while you sleep, while you rest, while you grow. Because true wealth isn't about endless effort. It's about intelligent systems that make effort unnecessary. When I was younger, I thought security came from a paycheck. The sound of that envelope opening every 2 weeks felt like certainty. Until I realized that if I stopped showing up, the envelope stopped arriving. That was the day I learned an important truth. A salary feeds you for the present, but a system feeds you for a lifetime. A paycheck stops the moment your effort stops, but a system keeps paying while you sleep, travel, or think. The wealthy don't chase income, they build structures that keep producing it. Philosophically, this idea is about trading dependence for design. I remember meeting a gentleman who owned several vending machines scattered around the city. He told me, "I earn money even when I'm not there." That line stayed with me. His machines didn't need weekends, holidays, or motivation. They just needed refilling and maintenance. That's when I began to understand leverage. Whether it's a business that runs on processes, an investment that compounds, or an automated system that delivers value continuously, the goal is the same: to create something that produces income independent of your constant presence. When I first started to apply this, I began by documenting everything I did repeatedly in my small enterprise: phone calls, follow-ups, product delivery, customer service. Then I built systems so others could do it just as well, maybe better. I didn't want to be the system. I wanted to own the system. That single shift changed my entire outlook on work. My effort began to multiply through people, tools, and processes. Eventually, I realized that even my money could be part of a system: dividends, royalties, rental income, all of it designed to keep flowing, even when I wasn't pushing. Strategically, building systems means finding repeatable processes that can be automated, delegated, or scaled. It might be a small digital business that sells while you sleep, an investment account that reinvests dividends automatically, or a network of partners who operate under clear procedures. The principle is identical: design once, refine often, and let the structure carry the weight. It's not about working less irresponsibly. It's about working intelligently, so your results no longer depend entirely on your time. Practically, start simple. Identify one area in your life or business where you repeat the same task often. Turn it into a process. Document it, automate it, or delegate it. Take a portion of your active income and reinvest it into assets that fit inside a system of compounding. Over time, those systems, financial, operational, intellectual, begin to interact, supporting each other like gears in a well-built machine. That's when momentum replaces exhaustion and growth becomes automatic. So remember this: paychecks end when effort ends, but systems live beyond effort. Build systems, refine them, protect them, and they'll work for you long after you've stopped working for them. That's not just wealth creation. That's freedom creation. One of the biggest mistakes people make when trying to build wealth is chasing growth without first understanding flow. They get excited by new income, bigger numbers, and flashy opportunities, but they never stop to ask where their money's really going. I learned this lesson early. There was a time when my business was growing fast, sales were up, clients were happy, the energy was high. But one day, I looked at my bank account and realized something shocking. The faster we grew, the less cash we seemed to have. How could that be? Then it hit me. Growth without control leads to collapse. You see, cash flow is the bloodstream of your financial life. If you don't monitor it, no amount of growth can save you. I've seen entrepreneurs, salespeople, and even employees increase their income dramatically, only to stay broke because they never learned to manage the movement of money. It's not what you make that matters, it's what you keep and control. Once I began tracking every dollar, what came in, what went out, and where it was really needed, I gained something more powerful than income: clarity. Philosophically, this is about responsibility. Most people think wealth is about having more, but wealth is really about managing better. I remember someone asking me, should I start a second business? I said, not until you can see clearly through the first one. Growth without flow is chaos wearing a suit. It looks exciting, but it collapses under its own weight. I started maintaining a simple monthly cash flow sheet. Money in, money out, what was productive, what was waste. That single discipline saved me from making decisions based on excitement instead of truth. Strategically, understanding cash flow means separating personal and business finances completely. Too many people mix them up. They pay business expenses from personal accounts or dip into savings for lifestyle spending. That's like mixing medicine and poison in the same bottle. Eventually, it all becomes toxic. When I separated my accounts, Income, expenses, investments, savings. I could see exactly what was healthy and what wasn't. That awareness gave me power. Once you can see your financial patterns, you can fix leaks before they sink the ship. Practically, start by maintaining a simple monthly cash flow sheet. Track every source of income and every expense. You'll be surprised how much money slips through unnoticed. Fix the leaks before you chase new streams. Maybe it's unnecessary subscriptions, unprofitable projects, or lifestyle inflation that's draining your growth. Once your cash flow is strong and stable, then expansion becomes natural. Growth built on clarity is sustainable. Growth built on chaos is a countdown. So remember, before you chase more, master what you have. Control the flow before you expand the size. Because once you understand how to manage cash flow, growth isn't risky, it's inevitable. Wealth doesn't belong to the person who earns the most, it belongs to the person who manages best. When I first began studying wealth, I noticed a strange pattern. Many people work themselves to the bone, putting in long hours, sacrificing weekends, missing family events, all for a paycheck that barely increased. Yet, I also observed another group, people who seemed to accomplish far more with far less effort. The difference wasn't luck, intelligence, or charm. It was leverage. The rich understand that working harder is not the path to freedom. Working smarter, multiplying your effort through leverage, is where true wealth is created. Philosophically, leverage is about amplifying value. It's the recognition that time is limited, but your impact does not have to be. $1, 1 hour, or one idea can do more if applied through systems, people, or capital. I remember early in my career, I tried to manage everything myself, every client call, every bookkeeping task, even basic errands. I was exhausted, and growth was slow. Then, I began delegating simple tasks to others. The result? I gained hours of freedom each week, which I redirected into building new systems and exploring opportunities that multiplied income. That is leverage in action. Strategy comes into play when you start thinking not just about what you can do, but what can be done for you. Tools, technology, and teams become extensions of your effort. I once invested in a simple automation system for my small business, something that sent out invoices and tracked payments automatically. It wasn't glamorous, but it saved dozens of hours per month. Those hours, multiplied over a year, allowed me to focus on building additional ventures. Similarly, borrowed capital, when used strategically, can act as leverage. Money used to purchase income-producing assets works while you sleep, whereas money spent on consumption disappears as fast as it arrived. Practically, leverage begins with delegation. Identify tasks that someone else can handle without sacrificing quality. Then free yourself to work on high-value opportunities. Next, integrate automation wherever possible, whether through software, digital marketing, or systems that reduce repetitive effort. Finally, use financial leverage wisely. Invest borrowed money into ventures that generate returns, exceeding the cost of debt. Too often, people borrow to spend, not to multiply. That's the trap. True leverage enhances value. Misused leverage multiplies mistakes. The lesson is clear. Your time, your money, and your energy are limited resources. The only way to truly escape the constraints of labor is to multiply those resources intelligently. People who embrace leverage don't simply work harder. They create engines that produce wealth continuously. They understand that success is not measured by the hours they put in, but by the output their efforts generate when amplified through systems, teams, and smart investments. So remember this, labor alone will earn you a living, but leverage will build a fortune. Seek ways to amplify your effort. Use your tools wisely and invest your capital strategically. And watch as the results multiply far beyond what time alone could achieve. I want to share something I've observed countless times in my years of speaking and mentoring. Most people let circumstances dictate their actions. The market dips, they panic. Unexpected bills arrive. They scramble. Promotions or bonuses come in. They spend it all immediately. This reactive approach creates stress, inconsistency, and financial instability. The truth is, wealth is not built by reacting to situations. It's built by creating systems that work regardless of circumstances. The rich understand that life is unpredictable, but systems endure. Philosophically, thinking in terms of systems is about removing emotion from decisions that matter most. I remember when I first began investing, I would often let fear or excitement dictate my choices. One month the market looked promising, and I invested impulsively. The next month a minor downturn made me sell at a loss. It took years before I realized the problem wasn't the market, it was my lack of a system. Once I created repeatable, disciplined processes for saving, investing, and managing cash flow, the results became predictable, even during uncertain times. That consistency allowed my wealth to grow steadily, without the anxiety of constant decision-making. Strategy matters because systems allow you to operate above the chaos of the moment. It's not about being rigid or inflexible. It's about having rules that guide your actions and prevent impulsive mistakes. For example, I automated transfers to savings and investment accounts. This simple act ensured that each month, a portion of income was working for me automatically, before I could even think about spending it. I set clear rules. No emotional withdrawals. No exceptions unless planned in advance. Over time, this discipline built more wealth than sporadic bursts of effort ever could. Practically, start by examining your current habits. Identify areas where you are reactive, spending, investing, or even negotiating, and replace them with systems that follow fixed rules. Automate contributions to retirement accounts or dividend investments. Schedule quarterly reviews instead of reacting daily to fluctuations. Treat every financial decision as part of a larger process, not an emotional impulse. Even in business, create repeatable processes for sales, follow-ups, and client management. These systems will multiply output while reducing stress. Ultimately, thinking in systems is a mindset shift. The poor allow situations to control their finances. The rich allow processes to control their results. It's the difference between riding a wave and building the boat that keeps you steady through the storm. Systems don't get tired, they don't panic, and they don't spend impulsively. When you adopt this philosophy, your financial life becomes predictable, manageable, and scalable. So remember, don't react to situations. Build systems. Let your money, your habits, and your processes operate independently of emotion, and wealth will follow naturally. I want to tell you a story from early in my career. I had a friend who was brilliant at sales, earning an excellent paycheck every month. He thought he was secure because his income was high, and for a while, it felt like it was true. Then one day, the company downsized, and his paycheck disappeared almost overnight. He had relied on a single source of income, and suddenly, security was gone. That experience taught me an important lesson. Dependence on one source of money is one of the riskiest financial positions a person can take. The rich understand this. They don't rely on a single paycheck, they diversify, creating multiple streams of income that support each other, grow independently, and endure through economic ups and downs. Philosophically, this is about creating freedom, not just more money. True wealth isn't measured by how high one's salary climbs. It's measured by how resilient your financial life is. When you have several streams feeding your cash flow, you're no longer a slave to any single job, client, or market condition. I remember when I began adding income streams. I started with my speaking engagements, then invested in small business ventures, and later explored dividend-producing stocks. Each stream started small, but over time they reinforced each other. Even when one faltered, the others kept me moving forward. That's the power of diversification. Strategically, diversification is about building systems that can operate independently. Not all streams have to be massive at first. Start with something manageable, a side business, a small investment, a digital product, or royalties. Each should be designed to complement your main source of income while remaining capable of standing on its own. Over time, reinvest profits from one stream into creating the next. That's how wealth compounds, not just through the growth of one source, but through the interconnected growth of many. Practically, begin by identifying areas where you can create new income streams without disrupting your current stability. Allocate a portion of profits or salary toward ventures that generate either active or passive income. Keep records, monitor performance, and treat each stream as a mini-system, an engine that contributes to your overall financial well-being. The goal is not just to make more money, but to create financial resilience and independence that cannot be shaken by one unexpected event. The lesson is simple. Don't place all your eggs in one basket. Build multiple streams, nurture each one, and reinvest intelligently. Dependence is risky. Diversity is security. The wealthy understand that freedom comes not from a single paycheck, but from a network of cash flows that work together, supporting your life and your dreams, even when circumstances change. So remember this, never rely on one source. Create many, connect them, and let them work for you. That is true financial strength. When I first started in business, I believed that time was money in the most literal sense. I would trade hours for dollars, day in and day out, believing that my income was tied directly to my effort. I quickly learned that this was a trap. There's a limit to how many hours one can work. And if your income depends entirely on those hours, you will always be bound by time. True freedom, I realized, begins when your income no longer depends on the hours you put in. This is the distinction between working for money and letting money work for you. Philosophically, separating time from income is about creating leverage and expanding human potential. I remember a young entrepreneur who spent 10 hours a day teaching a course only to realize that his earnings plateaued because he could only teach so many students at once. When he transformed that course into a digital product, suddenly the same knowledge could reach hundreds, even thousands, generating revenue while he slept. That's the moment he stepped off the treadmill of labor and onto the path of financial independence. You see, our skills, knowledge, and effort are finite, but when packaged correctly, they can produce limitless returns. Strategically, this means developing systems that generate recurring or passive revenue. It might be digital products, royalties, subscription-based services, or scalable business ventures where your presence isn't required for daily operation. For example, turning expertise into an online course allows you to earn from the same content repeatedly without additional hours spent. A subscription service creates steady, predictable income that grows as more people join. Equity in scalable businesses multiplies your initial effort, producing results beyond the limits of your own labor. Practically, start by examining your current work. Which parts of it can be systematized or leveraged into a product or service that doesn't require your direct time? Could a consulting framework become a course? Could a repetitive service be automated or delegated? Could investments or partnerships create consistent returns without daily involvement? Begin small, but think long term. Even a single recurring revenue model can free up hours that you can then reinvest in building additional streams. Over time, these layers of income compound, just like money invested in assets. The lesson is clear. The rich don't measure wealth by hours worked. They measure it by systems built and income earned independently of presence. Time is your most valuable asset, and the moment you stop trading it directly for money, you unlock true financial freedom. When your income flows, whether you are working, resting, or pursuing new opportunities, you gain control over life itself. So remember, don't tie your earnings to your effort alone. Separate time from income and let your work produce value that continues long after your day has ended. That is the foundation of lasting wealth. I've often seen people pride themselves on working long hours, thinking that effort alone creates wealth. They stay late at the office, handle every detail themselves, and measure success by how tired or busy they feel. I learned the hard way that effort, while noble, does not automatically translate into results. Wealth is not created by busyness. It's created by efficiency. The rich understand this principle intuitively. It's not how much you do, but how much your systems produce with the least waste of time, money, and energy. Philosophically, this is about valuing outcomes over input. I remember working with a small business owner who spent 80 hours a week on operations. He was exhausted and constantly reactive, yet his profits were minimal. I suggested he audit his processes, focusing only on activities that generated income. Within a few months, by eliminating redundant steps and delegating non-productive tasks, his results nearly doubled while his effort was halved. That moment was a revelation. Efficiency compounds wealth, while effort without structure compounds exhaustion. Strategically, measuring systems by efficiency means constantly evaluating where your money, time, and energy go. Income sources, investments, and business processes should be audited regularly to determine what truly produces results. Ask yourself, which parts of my system generate predictable, meaningful returns? And which parts consume resources without sufficient payoff? This approach forces a shift from doing more to doing what matters, freeing up resources to be redirected toward growth areas. Practically, start by performing a quarterly audit of all your systems. Examine income streams, business operations, and personal finances. Identify bottlenecks, unproductive expenses, and processes that yield minimal return. For example, a business might spend thousands on marketing channels that don't convert. Or an investor may hold assets that generate low returns relative to risk. Eliminate or optimize these areas and reinvest resources into proven, consistent performers. Over time, this discipline magnifies results. Efficiency becomes a multiplier of wealth, while effort alone is just noise. I've learned from experience that success is less about being busy and more about being intentional. Systems designed for efficiency do not tire, panic, or spend energy unnecessarily. They produce reliable results even under stress. By measuring success through output rather than input, you can focus on scaling what works, fixing what doesn't, and building momentum that compounds over time. So remember this, wealth is not a product of how hard you work, but how effectively your systems work. Audit, optimize, and reinvest in what produces. When you stop glorifying effort and start prioritizing efficiency, your systems and your life begin to generate true, sustainable results. I want you to picture something that's deceptively simple, yet profoundly powerful. The money you earn today doesn't have to be spent today. I remember early in my career, I was tempted by every raise, bonus, and extra dollar that came in. I'd reward myself with small luxuries, new suits, dinners, gadgets, And each time a piece of my future slipped away. Then I realized a simple truth. Cash flow that is spent is cash flow that disappears. Cash flow that is reinvested is cash flow that grows, multiplies, and compounds over time. That moment changed everything for me. Because wealth isn't built by consumption, it's built by reinvestment. Philosophically, this is about discipline, patience, and vision. The rich understand that every dollar has the potential to work harder than they do. It's not about depriving yourself. It's about prioritizing the creation of long-term value over the fleeting satisfaction of temporary spending. I remember meeting a successful investor who lived in a modest home, drove a simple car, yet had amassed multiple rental properties and a diverse investment portfolio. He told me, "I don't chase appearances, I chase assets." That lesson has stayed with me. Wealth grows when you feed it, not when you display it. Strategically, reinvesting cash flow means setting fixed rules for your money. Decide in advance how much of your earnings or profits will go back into income-producing assets, whether it's real estate, dividend-paying stocks, index funds, or small business ventures. Treat reinvestment like a non-negotiable obligation, not a discretionary choice. The goal is to make your money generate more money, creating a cycle that compounds in size and influence over time. Every reinvested dollar becomes part of a self-sustaining system, producing returns that eventually exceed the need for active effort. Practically, begin by allocating a fixed percentage of your profits or salary to asset-building vehicles before you do anything else. Automate the process so that it becomes a habit rather than a decision. Avoid lifestyle inflation. Resist the temptation to spend increases in income on luxury or status symbols. Instead, focus on acquiring assets that generate cash flow and appreciate over time. Each reinvested dollar is a seed planted for your financial future, one that multiplies quietly while you focus on growth, service, and opportunity. Over years and decades, the compounding effect turns modest, consistent reinvestment into significant wealth. I've learned that the secret to lasting prosperity isn't how much you earn, but what you do with what you earn. Spending kills potential. Reinvesting unlocks it. The moment you commit to directing profits into income-generating assets, you step into a world where money works for you, not the other way around. That's the difference between living paycheck to paycheck and achieving true financial independence. So remember this, every dollar you reinvest today becomes a worker in your wealth-building system tomorrow. Feed your assets, not your impulses, and you will watch compounding transform small beginnings into lasting prosperity. I want to share a truth that often surprises people. The greatest wealth you can leave behind isn't measured in dollars. It's measured in minds shaped, habits formed, and systems created. Early in my life, I noticed something remarkable about the most successful people I knew. They weren't just earning more money. They were teaching others to think differently about money. They were creating systems that could operate independently, not just for themselves, but for everyone around them. That's when I realized that real influence, real legacy, comes from empowering others to escape the paycheck trap and build systems that produce freedom. Philosophically, teaching others is about multiplication. Money spent or saved grows linearly, but knowledge shared grows exponentially. When you mentor someone, you're not just helping them, you're creating ripple effects that expand beyond what you can immediately see. I remember when I took a young associate under my wing. I showed him how to set up a simple investment system, how to track cash flow, and how to automate savings and reinvestment. A year later, not only was he thriving financially, but he began mentoring someone else, and that person mentored another. Suddenly, one act of guidance multiplied into a network of disciplined, system-oriented thinkers. That's the power of legacy. Strategy comes from thinking intentionally about what you pass on. Document your processes. from cash flow management to asset acquisition. Make your financial systems explicit so that others can follow and learn. Partner with disciplined learners who are willing to implement advice rather than just listen. Surround yourself with people who are eager to multiply the habits and processes you teach, and you create a culture that outlives any single individual. This is how the rich maintain influence and impact across generations, by creating structures of learning and action, not just accounts of wealth. Practically, start small. Write down your financial habits, your rules for investing, and the way you automate income. Mentor one person in your family, community, or workplace, showing them step by step how to create a system rather than chase a paycheck. Build partnerships where each member contributes to a shared system of growth. Over time, these networks of system thinkers reinforce one another, providing mutual support, accountability, and the exponential effect of compounded knowledge. This isn't charity, it's smart wealth strategy. A network of educated, disciplined individuals produces results far beyond what a single person could achieve alone. I've seen firsthand that the richest people I know aren't those who hoard money, they are those who multiply knowledge, habit, and systems. When you teach others to think in terms of systems, you free them from the paycheck mindset and create a legacy that grows on its own. Money may be finite, but knowledge, mentorship, and influence are limitless. So remember this, your greatest investment isn't in stocks, bonds, or property, it's in people. Teach others to build systems, not paychecks, and watch your impact and your wealth compound beyond imagination. One of the first lessons I learned about wealth is that money is a language, and if you don't understand it, it will control you rather than serve you. Many people look at their paycheck, pay the bills, and wonder why they never get ahead. They treat money like a fleeting resource, reacting to expenses instead of controlling them. The difference between the wealthy and the average person is simple. The wealthy track their cash flow like a business, not a consumer. They measure, they analyze, and they act with precision. Philosophically, this is about mastery over your own resources. Businesses succeed because they monitor every dollar, income, expenses, and profits are all accounted for, reviewed, and optimized. Your personal finances deserve the same respect. I remember early in my career, I barely had any savings despite working tirelessly. One day I started keeping a detailed weekly report of every penny that came in and went out. At first it was tedious, but over time, patterns emerged. I discovered where money was leaking, which expenses were unnecessary, and where I could invest to create additional cash flow. That simple act of measurement changed everything. Strategy comes in when you realize that cash flow is the lifeblood of wealth creation. It doesn't matter how much you earn if your money isn't flowing intelligently. You need to track every income source and expense, understanding which activities or investments are producing returns and which are merely consuming resources. A business that ignores its finances will fail, and the same is true for personal wealth. When you treat money as a tool and track it like a business, you gain the power to make intentional decisions rather than reactive ones. Practically, start by creating a weekly income and expense report. Note every source of money, from your salary to side projects, and track all spending, even the small purchases. Review which streams generate profit and which drain your resources without adding value. Once you have clarity, adjust your spending to align with long-term objectives, ensuring that every dollar has a purpose. Over time, you'll notice trends, make smarter investments, and stop allowing small leaks to erode your future. This habit creates not just financial security, but also mental clarity and confidence in every money decision. I've observed countless people who earn more than they ever dreamed, yet remain financially stressed because they never track where money goes. On the other hand, individuals who treat finances as a disciplined system, like a profitable enterprise, grow steadily and predictably. Cash flow mastery begins with measurement. Once you can see exactly where every dollar flows, you can redirect, optimize, and multiply it.